So there's an interesting article that came out in the Greenwich Time, and it talks about the importance of exercising and how exercise boosts the brain and mental health. And as I've talked about in my second book, Mastering Yourself, our cells need three things to thrive. They need oxygen, they need the proper nutrients, and the ability to eliminate waste. And when any one of the three is missing, or a combination of the three are missing, you end up with compromised cells, and therefore you end up with a compromised life. And so anybody that has drank the green juice consistently for, if you've done the 30-day challenge that I talk about, that Chunky has gone through, Gracie's gone through, Jennifer's done, and let's say Caroline kind of partially did a little bit. Anybody that's drank the green juice on a consistent basis notices that their skin is better, their energy is better, they feel better, they look better, they're more mentally sharp. And it's the same thing with exercising. And so here we have, again, because a big part of what I teach is, if you're trying to make yourself, as a man or a woman for that matter, maximally attractive, you got to eat healthy and you got to exercise properly. And exercise is not just cardio. You got to do cardio and weight training. You have to do both if you want to maximize your potential, maximize your looks. And the reality is, and at least in the United States, that now the recent stats I've seen is 74% of Americans are overweight or obese. And if you're a guy and you're worried about competing against other dudes, just getting yourself in shape makes you better physically than 75% of the dudes, 74% of the dudes that you're competing against. And that's something that you can do, that you have control over. So, I mean, this is just another study that shows that if you don't eat healthy and you don't do cardio and you don't do weight training, the quality of your life is going to be deteriorated. And some of this, and that's how you get debilitating illnesses. So tell us about this, Esty.
Well, as reported in Greenwich Time, mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety aren't easy to treat. Medications help many but have a high failure rate and may bring nasty side effects. Talk therapy is time-consuming and expensive, and neither approach is suited to preventing the disorders from developing in the first place. But many people overlook another option that, when it works, can be one of the most effective, least disruptive, and cheapest way of managing mental health disorders: exercise. Exercise has profound effects on the brain's structure itself, and it also provides other more subtle benefits, such as focus, a sense of accomplishment, and sometimes social stimulation. And while more is generally better, even modest levels of physical activity, such as daily walk, can pay big dividends for mental health.
So what happens is, when you walk, and especially when you swing your arms, you got to remember there's no heart to pump your lymphatic system to remove the waste that your cells secrete. And so your lymphatic system, which drains into your colon, pumps the lymphatic fluid throughout your body, through the lymph nodes, then draining into your colon by the expansion and contraction of your muscles. And so that's why when you're doing cardio, and especially when you're doing weight training, you feel so much better, because you're literally facilitating your body detoxifying itself. And so, and also when you do cardio, you're highly oxygenating your body. And again, your cells need oxygen, the proper nutrients, and the ability to eliminate waste. And so if you're getting the proper nutrients, you're able to circulate them through the body better through exercise, and you're getting extra oxygen throughout the body because of the exercise, and because you're moving your lymphatic system through the expansion and contraction of your muscles, you're removing the waste to drain into the colon, versus just somebody that sits at their desk all day.
A mental health researcher at the University of Manchester in the United Kingdom said Quote, ask 100 people receiving mental health care. How many are getting exercise prescriptions as part of that care? You wouldn't find many, end quote. Exercise is not the only key component in mental health, but also in depression. Do you agree with that, Corey?
I know for a fact it's, one of the things so every day, usually 7 days a week, sometimes I take a day or two off. I tend to run 2 miles every morning and I always feel better after I exercise. And same thing with weight training. It's like, I don't look forward to it, but when I do go and work out with weights or I run a couple miles, I always feel better. And I found one of the quickest ways to change your state physically to feel better is to exercise. And so I think exercise is one of the best antidepressants that you can do. There's a girl that I was seeing from, she was also a Colombian last year, and she was thinking, I think I'm going to go get on antidepressants. She went to see her doctor, and the doctor's like, well, do you exercise? She's like, well, not very often. And so he says, I want you to go work out 30 days. He got her a personal trainer, and she did that. And once she started doing it, she felt great. And she never did end up getting on antidepressants. And that was just another person who could have been medicated, but she actually had a doctor that cared about health and suggested and gave her the resources she needed to exercise, to weight train, to do cardio. And she felt amazing afterwards. And she's still to this day exercising. This again, because that is always going to be better than taking a pill. Because when you're taking a pill, you're just kind of covering up things. You're not really getting to the root issue. And the bottom line is, if your body's filling up with toxins, it would make common sense that you're going to feel like crap because you literally have crap throughout your body.
Well,
what happens when you don't take out the trash? Rats and bugs show up, and flies.
And the smell.
And smell. Decay happens.
In 2016, a researcher and his colleagues searched the published literature and identified 23 clinical trials that tested the effectiveness of exercise in treating depression. Exercise was clearly effective, and in a few studies on par with antidepressant drugs, the researchers concluded. Exercise can improve mood almost immediately, making it a valuable supplement to frontline treatments such as drugs or therapy. Researchers are still figuring out how muscular exertion acts on the brain to improve mental health. And one possibility is that exercise buffs up the brain as well as the body. Physical exercise triggers the release of a protein known as a brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. BDNF encourages the growth of new brain cells, including possibly. One possibility is that exercise buffs up the brain as well as the body. Physical exercise triggers the release of a protein known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. BDNF encourages the growth of new brain cells, including possibly in the hippocampus, a brain region important in memory and learning. And that's the end of the key points from this article related to exercise with mental health and depression.
Cool. So I would like for any of you guys in the comments below, talk about your experiences drinking the green juice, the smoothies, what you noticed with cardio, what you noticed with weight training, and how it affected your mood and how you felt about yourself. And if you could post your success stories in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be people reading those comments that are contemplating or considering doing cardio, doing weight training, doing the green juice, these different things, and they could use a little positive encouragement. So go ahead and put in the comments below your experiences.